How can you help? How can you stand with us? How can you stand with me? You must first educate yourself so you know exactly what you're standing for and why you're standing. Because the only way we can solve this issue is through exposure, through education, through compassion, and through empathy. Thank y'all for tuning in to the first of hopefully many episodes of Uncomfortable Conversations with the Black Man.
So that was Emmanuel H.O., who is a former NFL player. He's also a sports analyst on Fox, and he has this show via YouTube called Uncomfortable Conversations. Now, Emmanuel H.O. also appeared on Oprah's show on Apple TV. And I'm going to play this clip for you guys, and then I'm gonna come back with some more.
The leg up is what I was saying. You still have your whiteness. That's what the term white privilege is. It means that whiteness still gives you an advantage no matter what.
So Oprah is actually receiving backlash from the conservative side because people are calling her white privilege because she's a billionaire. And specifically, a woman by the name of Irene Jackson writes on her Twitter page, and now why is Oprah maybe the richest black woman in the world trying to shame white people as privileged? Miss Winfrey, you are the personification of white privilege. And so, you guys, I had to respond, baby. I had to respond on Twitter. If y'all not following me on Twitter, y'all got to, because I'm getting in with these people. So I write, but Oprah is self-made. Whether you like it or not, there's truth to this. And conductive studies by Harvard, Stanford, my experience, other brown, black, minority experiences, you cannot derail the truth because it makes you uncomfortable. Let's be real here and respectful. Now, there's also a radio personality, a local radio personality, I believe, that I also responded to. His name is Chris Stiegel, and he basically criticized Oprah by tweeting, said the billionaire made a billionaire by her overwhelmingly white audience. What a fraud. And this source is by the Blaze, who is, if I'm not mistaken, owned by Glenn Beck, who allegedly fired Tommy Loren after she said this on The View.
So his rhetoric doesn't bother you, but let me ask you this. You call yourself a conservative Republican and a constitutional conservative, but you also consider yourself pro-choice, which is interesting to me because 68% of conservative Republicans think that abortion should be illegal across the board.
No, I'm pro-choice, and here's why. I am a constitutional, someone that loves the Constitution. I am someone that's for limited government, and so I can't sit here and be a hypocrite and say I'm for limited government, but I think that the government should decide what women do with their bodies. I can sit here and say that as a Republican, and I can say, you know what, I'm for limited government, so stay out of my guns, and you can stay out of my body as well.
Tommy Loren basically said that, she's in charge of her own body and she shouldn't be dictated by her own body. Next thing you know, her right-wing media television station fired her. And she had to fight them by getting the ownership of her own social media. I mean, the girl is still the same thing. She's on Fox now. So I write, your opinion is invalid, sir. You'll never know what it's like to walk in the steps of a black or brown person. And I got a lot of tweets, different people just, either being on my side or even trolling me with that statement. And you guys, I'm being respectful here. There's been studies about this, and let's just talk about one facet. Let's talk about a Harvard study that did statistics on people of color, or black people per se, quote unquote whitening their names so they can get callbacks for an interview. And there's been an active study about this. When looking for employment, only 11.5% of job applicants of Asian descent receive callbacks when their resume includes references to ethnicity or race, like a foreign-looking name. African Americans didn't fare much better. When applying for jobs, only 10% got calls when they left details pertaining to their ethnic identity intact. So a lot of people feel that whitening your name on your resume gets you in an interview, And as reported in Harvard Business School Working Knowledge, the strategy is paying off. 25% of black candidates received callbacks from their whitened resumes, while among Asians, 21% got calls if they used whitened resumes, even though the qualifications listed were identical. So this is an act of discrimination. And I was also reading, based on this Harvard study, that an African American recipient who's applying for a job that are a part of companies that show diversity aren't really truly for diversification. They just have that just for hearsay, for ethical and non-discriminatory purposes. So a lot of black people, they basically, what they do is they limit their skills and their activities that pertain to the black experience, such as, maybe having a degree in African American studies, or being a part of an organization that's all about the black experience, and so on and so forth. And this is true. And the fact that the right wing is attacking Oprah, and I'm not an idolization of Oprah. I don't do the woman. I was actually shocked that this came out of her mouth, considering her essence with, the Harvey Weinstein and just being powerful in this and being portrayed as woman as being, I don't want to call her a sellout, but just not being sided within the black community. So I guess she's having a change of heart by having Breonna Taylor on her Oprah magazine. For the first time, she's not on the face of it. And for the first time, Breonna Taylor, who was killed in her own home by police officers who barged into the wrong home and shot at them and killed the woman. And now this, Oprah saying this situation is really surprising for me. And you guys, this isn't an attack on white people. This is a conversation that needs to be had, and people need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. I understand that. Actually, I don't understand. Because if you can be comfortable with being racist, or if you can be comfortable with not hiring somebody based on the lettering of their name, then you should be comfortable with talking about racial issues. And if that makes you uncomfortable, well, you need to change that mindset and be uncomfortable. You need to be comfortable with being uncomfortable. We need to have this conversation, because this is a problem in this country. This is a problem that I faced before with an interview. This is a problem that the majority of 36% of people, according to the study, are facing. And the fact that you have to change the lettering of your name to something based on a nickname, or something based on a study that will make you get a callback, it's ridiculous, and it's ludicrous. And I'm happy that people are speaking out about this, and I'm going to speak out about this as I am now on this YouTube video. So what I want to know from you guys is, have you ever experienced a situation where you had to change the lettering of your name, or you went to an interview and you just felt a vibe to where, okay, well, my name is seen as this on a resume. It sounds Caucasian, but in person there was kind of like a different feel. Your name could be Robert Johnson. You could be African American. You can be called to an interview because of your name, but when when you are being interviewed in person, now your perception is different because of someone's racial bias or their racial hidden agenda. Have anyone have that experience? Let me know in the comments below. Please do subscribe and click the bell button so you'll be the first to know when I upload. Deuces, yeah.